Good morning, T. Hey. Good morning, everybody. My name's pianomattyb. That is Scaramucci's. And this is your morning TA. A brief glimpse into the crypto markets where the sun's shining, where the winds play. All the humble opinion of this piano. Zamboni Reagan. The FOMO index has remained at 51, frozen in a state of market meh. Bitcoin dominance is 48.2%. 24-hour volume is 31 billion. The overall market cap is 1.19 give or take 100 million. Well, when it comes to an epic burger de nada, I think yesterday's, took the ultimate stinker award for most useless and redundant waste of times we've seen in a long while. And that's saying a lot, seeing as though most things these psychopathic elected elites say are colossal redundant waste of time. After the telegraphed raise of 25 basis points, old Scotch on the rocks, booze breath Jerry Pow Pow was fed softball, white-gloved, embarrassing questions that reminded me of Lisa Simpson asking Mr. Burns about his runaway freight train campaign success after the market heard what it already knew and had baked in for the past 12 months. The market gathered as much steam as it could and rallied up to the 50 moving average, finding a ping at 29.7, where it was met with a hardcore insta-rejection down and has pouted its way back up to a time of production, 29.4, for an overall change in price from yesterday at this time of $100. We didn't even retest our channel of Eternal Monotony's resistance level up at 29.8. So with the bears and the bulls deadlocked in the summer blahs, I can see price action just kind of fluttering down to test support 28.2-ish. And although our last high of 31.8 was on July 13th, just feels like an ice age ago since we've seen any actual power moves. Now over on the ding-dong, we have a lot of work to put in to move the needle back to bullish, which means first getting back into our channel of Eternal Monotony up at 29.8. Then we have to get up and over the 20 moving average, barreling down the boulevard up at 30K, fight the historic touchy subjects at 30.6, and then bust out of resistance at 31.3. And at that point, we can put our rally caps on and start singing another tune. But if, and I say if we can't get there, I wouldn't be surprised to see us flutter down to the 50% fib at 28.2, a level we've been droning on and on about ad nauseum for weeks, and even 27.4 if she's so darn tootin'. Quick look at the Wookiee sees a series of lower highs being put in for the past months, and our painted green price for the week is up at 30K, which is really a heartbeat away, yet feels so far. And when the head-nodding CNN propagandist puking analyst asked Jerry Pow Pow, who'd he rather bang, Gina or George from Cryptos R Us? Jerry replied, well, it's no secret I've recently come out of the sad dad alert. Yes, it is. A friendly reminder to keep our eye on the MACD, which looks like she wants to cross back bearish. You can see the last time she crossed bearish, we bottomed out at 24.8. And although it hasn't quite crossed over yet, it might not be something, but she's what? That's right. Leave it in the comment section. And would you look at that, my friends? The sun's up. It's another brand new day here on planet Earth. A day none of us are guaranteed. We're not guaranteed these days, but we're lucky enough to have them anyway. So get out there and knock them dead. And remember, we're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected elites. That's right, it's the long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic day. And we'll be going live right away, so grab yourself a cup of coffee. Join me for a quick one. And sing it with me now. Around the banks of boom dash bang, Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Hey, whoa, ching.
Yeah, there were squeaks. I heard some squeaks. So it's not back to the drawing board because I did figure it out. And I saw Sneaky Pete put in such a clean piano sound, and then the squeak happened, and then he retracted his message. So turns out if you had on your bingo card sustain pedal was the squeaky McGee, gosh darn it, you were right. Because this is what happens. I thought it was a digital click that we were talked about yesterday. But when I was putting my sustain pedal to say, is it sustain pedal, for Christ's sake? If I just hammered the sustain pedal, it didn't make a sound. But of course, when I'm playing, sustain is like a, you don't just hammer it off. It's not either open or close. It's not 0 or 1. There's degrees of the sustain, and there was a certain point of the sustain pedal that it would squeak. So I subbed out the sustain pedal. I got a new sustain pedal in it. So tomorrow, hopefully there won't be any squeaks. But I did notice there wasn't any squeaks after it. So if you were to go back to give or take 100 million, right at million, you do hear a squeak. You can't even begin to understand the disappointment I felt when I heard that mid-edit, because I can't go back and re-record it all because it would just put me out of time, right? I don't really have 10 minutes in that 3-hour block to redo stuff. So there you go. The squeaks were front-loaded for sure, Sneaky Pete says. Yeah. Good morning, Chris Selden, McGee, Sneaky Pete, BC, Thomas SK3 from UK, Old Fashioned Truth from Tennessee, C-Dubs from Colorado, Terry, Roaster, I'm George too, Squirky, and Misco, Earth Scum, Richard Random K in Beijing. Interesting. And Ken Krieger, JP. Now we will miss your signature squeaks. Yeah. It's one of those things, it's like the hiccups sometimes. Like for me, when I get the hiccups, they're annoying. And then when they go away, it's like, kind of miss that feeling. So we solved the squeaky for now. I don't know why it stopped squeaking, but maybe there was something to do with the way I sustain, give or take 100 million. So who knows? What a nothing burger, that FOMC meeting. Like, here's a funny thing. I had a gig yesterday at this, it was a charity golf tournament where I was playing the piano and then doing the auction. It's like a double duty type thing. I don't really like doing those things. I like to be one or the other, not both. I might as well put on like an apron and bartend as well. But as I was driving there, I was slightly out of town, so I was about 30 minutes outside of the city, and I never ever imagined in my life that I would willfully listen to a live FOMC meeting. And there I am driving on the perimeter highway of Winnipeg, Manitoba, listening to the FOMC meeting. And God, it was like, I couldn't help thinking that whatever the correspondents, whatever they're called, the people asking the questions, I couldn't help but thinking that they were briefed on questions, because the questions were so stupid that it's like, there's no way these people got in this room and are asking these silly questions. And so sure enough, the market barely moved. Like in a normal day of the bull run, we wouldn't even consider that a move. We would say, oh, the market didn't do anything. So where do we go? 29.3 up to 29.8, 9-ish? Big deal. It's nothing. Where are we now? 29.461. Who cares? It's a nothing burger. And the questions were just brutal. Which makes me think the whole thing's kind of rigged. But I always think the whole thing's rigged. These old people. Dave Digital, I double duty each morning. I should have read that one first before it came out. Today is the auction day, so I did an auction last night. I'm not a big fan of charity auctions because the one thing I hate more than asking anyone for money is asking a room full of people for money. It just kind of, I'm not good at it, so I find it difficult. I once did a Good Morning Camo Crawdad from wonderful West Virginia. Misco thinks it's rigged as well. I once did a charity auction for the NHL. One of the announcers' son, I can't remember his name, died of a drug overdose, so he opened up this drug facility in Winnipeg. And he had a fundraiser at this massive theater in Winnipeg called the Burton Cummings Theater. Terry Crow. Plus, crypto bills made it through the congressional committee, and the markets went meh. That is suspicious to me. Yeah, well, Terry Crow, I think that's indicative of where we are in the bull market. Yes, we are in a bull market, but we are in the worst, most boring part of this bull market where it barely moves. I've said this before on Around the Blockchain. It's like the crash comes down, boom, hits the bottom of the bearish ocean, and then the door just goes and then we walk out the door on the bottom of the ocean for what seems like forever. So you got to tuck yourself in, because this could go on for a good 6 months. But here's the good news. 6 months in our new timeline. I was looking for that word. What is this thing? Simulation. And our new simulation goes by twice as fast as it did last year. So time's just moving faster. Again, it's Thursday already. I just did the auction last week. Now I'm doing the auction again. That's how fast time moves. I lost my train of thought there with the FOMC meeting. The NHL auction. Remind me if I forget the NHL auction. Paul Frederick, do you think the Bitcoin cycle is the main driver of the macro economy? I don't fully understand that question. I think maybe if I were to reword the question, I would say, is the Bitcoin cycle dependent on the macro economy? Or maybe you didn't mean the main driver. I don't think it's the main driver. No, I think it's dependent right now and will always be on its own cycle. So right now we kind of live within the macro economy. Bad news is bad news. And I mean, rumors, speculation, fundamentals from the Fed and whatever the propaganda puking analysts have to say will affect the Bitcoin price. but only now. You know, like once that bull run hits, I have a feeling that after this bull run, someone's stalled car over there. After this bull run, fingers crossed, we may be in the great divorce from the legacy zombie markets. Which drives Bitcoin price more, cycle or macro? Well, that's a good question because it's both. Because first it's cycle, but then it's cycle. It's like a Christopher Nolan movie. First it's cycle, but then it's cycle within the macro. So you're not going to get these bullish gains if the fundamentals are just completely brutal, and vice versa. You're not going to get a ton of bearish losses if the macro is super good. So I would put the Bitcoin cycle independent of itself, and then once it's up against the macro economy, it tends to be affected by it. Long story short, NHL, why I don't like these charity auctions. I did an NHL, all millionaires, right? 18 to 25-year-old millionaires. I knew some of them. I'm not a big hockey fan, but I'm like, I know that guy. That's a big hockey star. I can't remember any of their names, mind you. But they were from all over the NHL. So everyone from Winnipeg to, I don't know, Las Vegas Knights. Wasn't sure I was going to get the name of that right. They're all sitting in the front row. So I thought, this will be easy. Everyone's going to be bidding because it's a pretty good cause. Raise money for this drug facility. And boy, was I wrong. It was the most painful auction and awkward. We're talking about like a soft seating theater. Probably held about 500 people, had balconies and stuff, and there was me on the stage doing an auction for prizes like a fishing trip to some fishing lodge with all expenses paid, etc., right? Everything worth about $5,000 to $10,000, I guess. And I just thought that these NHLers would just buy everything just because, maybe bragging rights, or maybe to virtue signal, like I'm supporting this. But nothing could have been farther from the truth, my friends. No one bid on anything. No one bid on anything. Not one NHL player bid. The only people that bid were some deep state wealthy people that I know in this city. They're well known. Their last name starts with Rich and ends with Son. And they're, I think, maybe the top 10 wealthiest family in Canada. Something like that. I could be wrong. Top 20 for sure. So I think out of just pity, they bought everything up. And God love them for that, because there's only so much I can do. I took the bids down to $100. So we're talking about $5,000 to $10,000 prizes. And usually, let's say if the suggested price is $5,000, I would probably start it at $5,000. And hopefully we just get a bidder, right? Nothing could be farther from the truth. I was deadly wrong. I made a huge mistake, and all those things. I had to go to $100 just to get bids. And then when it was $100 and there was people bidding, it was the family in the back that would just throw it like 3,000. I'm like, oh, thank you, 3,000. 3,100, dead. And then the same people would be like 5,000. It's the same family, right? And no one bid till they got it up to like basically what I said, the suggested value of it. Anyway, this is why I don't really enjoy doing charity auctions. I don't mind doing it for the cause, of course. But it's not my nature to be trying to pull money out of people. I don't like it. It's not a good feeling. Misco defeats the purpose of a charity auction. It sure does. Masumun Totsi. That squeak cannot be hidden. Still beautiful playing as always. Thank you. I tried to hide it. Totsi. Tozy? I thought I had fixed it yesterday. I didn't. But we talked about it earlier in this stream, and I think I got her figured out, but I'm not sure. Misco. So they get it as a discount at... They get at a discount and get a write-off because it's for charity. Yes. However, who knows if these are kids too, right? I always forget that these NHLers are kids. And I used to know them. So that nightclub I had called the Green Room opened in 2011. This is more Forrest Gumpian action. In 2011, when the Jets came to Winnipeg. So the Jets came to Winnipeg, and the nightclub was the new shiny toy in the city, and everybody went to it. And so when the NHL, when they'd have a game, all the Jets would come to the club after, and then all the, like, as the years went on, the other teams would come. So you would have, you know, the big players from the other teams coming into the green room. And they knew me, and they'd come and talk to me, and I'd always talk to them and ask them about their childhood. I think I might have talked about this, but this is where I get my theory on being a pro. I would ask them how they played when they were young. Were they good, or were they always good? Essentially, was my question. And they would always say, when I was 5 years old and they put me on skates, they might as well put strapped wings to my back. I could fly around the ice. And then when I started playing hockey, I was 2 years better than everyone. And then they kept bumping me up to 2 years older. But no matter where they put me, I was always the best player on the team. And some of them, like Ovechkin, he said, and then I got to the NHL and I was still the best player on the team. I was still skating around everyone. Who else said that? Laney. He would say that. And then I got to the NHL and I was still skating around everybody. So it was an interesting window into how good you have to be to... And then there were some bruisers that would come, like Bufflin. Remember, what was his first name? He was like the big bruiser. Everyone loved him because he was such a big bruiser. And he would tell me that he hated it. He hated it. He doesn't like hockey. He was just really good at it. And he loves to fish. And then, I won't get into this story because it was a little bit bizarre. They would have after parties sometimes on their rented houses. And they were bizarre window into the way women reacted to NHL. Or, I guess, celebrities at that point. And I always said that the NHL ruined women in Winnipeg because you probably don't know this, but it was a little kind of well-kept secret that Winnipeg was renowned for having beautiful women. It just was wall to wall. If you went to a Tim Hortons, which is like a coffee shop, there'd be like 3 supermodels serving you coffee. It was just a real crazy experience because at the time I was playing in another band and we'd go to all these other cities and we'd go to like big popular cities and we'd be like, there'd be one like shining beacon, textbook kind of beautiful girl. And we were so used to tripping over beautiful girls back in Winnipeg. They were just everywhere, right? And then the Jets came. And I would say within 4 or 5 years, they were gone. Now I have a couple theories on where they went. A couple of them who I knew and worked at the Green Room got kind of poached out and married up to some of these NHLers. Some moved away with other NHLers. And then I think some just got destroyed by some NHLers in the sense that they thought they were gonna get married up, because some of them were, and then when they just kind of got ran through the system, because some of these parties were a system run through, if you know what I mean. And once they got ran through, that was it. Their time on the ice, so to speak, was over for them. And then you just never saw them again. And it was weird because I disappeared too, because I had Duke, and the bar was done, 2018 maybe 17, I can't remember. It ran its course, so the bar was over. I was out of that nightly scene, seeing, keeping the pulse of the scene. But now it's just, the city's different. It's like a normal city. And I blame those goddamn Jets. See, I woke Duke up to sing us out. Oh, I hear him. See what he's wearing today. Oh yeah, if you didn't notice this thing, that's the orb. I thought I would help out Sam and just put it on my live stream, so whoever's watching, well, I scanned your retina. And what's so bad about scanning your retina? They're just collecting your... Do I see a powder? What's your biometric data? It's nothing. Just scan your eyes. What's the worst that can happen? I say do it. And by do it, I say, I'll probably, over my dead body, that I will do that. But guess what? I think I have a video here. Look at this video. Damn it, where is it?
Why do you make your videos so long? And you make
Good
me
question.
watch it?
Did you wake up on the wrong side of it? Look at this lineup for the Worldcoin. Lined up. I always say, people will beg for this. And isn't it weird that I would say the majority of people listening to this right now are like, I'll never get the Worldcoin. That's so draconian and Orwellian, that over my dead body. But then you look at that video, and there's people lined up. I heard, rub the orb. I heard there's been 2 million people signed up in the first day. The first day. Like how many Bitcoin holders are there? No, we're going.
Okay. What do I sing again?
Well, first, are you
Well, play.
Hold on. Are you bullish or bearish after the FOMC meeting?
I'm bullish.
Bullish? How come?
I don't know.
Okay, that's a good enough reason for most technical analysts. Okay, well, sing us out.
We're playing the same game as our psychopaths and collected leads. That's right, it's a long game. So you move and have a fantastic day. Over on the banks, the boom, the spank, Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Good night, everybody. Have a nice time. I'm not making Dada say that anymore.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Hey!
Have a great day.
That's my idea.
What is your
Thanks
idea?
for tuning in, everybody.
Okay, you say thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Oh, that's supposed to load my... See, Duke, these buttons aren't working. It's supposed to load the end page.
Make sure you like and subscribe.